Now, because the way you answered about SR flip-flop, SR latch, I will have to show this diagram again. What you can see on the screen is a gated SR latch. So what you see in this is, of course it is gated, so you have an enable pin here. But there is a possibility that you can have this without an enable pin. The waveform what I am trying to show you now today is without this enable pin. I will show you the waveform with and without this enable pin. I will show you the waveform with the edge triggered flip flop also. You have to understand these things very, very clearly. This is only the beginning. With SR flip flop, the other variant will be, if you do not understand SR flip flop clearly, the other variant also will not be clear. So it may be confusing if you do not understand things properly from the beginning. Just to ensure and revise, I am showing you here SR flip flop with enable input. The waveform what I will be showing you will be without enable input, and later I will show the waveform with the enable input also. What you can see in this is when SR is 0, 0, it is in a memory state. Memory state means if whatever Q was, if Q was 0, it will remain 0. And if Q was 1, it will remain 1. And it is called as memory state, and it is shown as Q plus equal to Q. Q plus means next state. So Q plus is equal to Q when S and R are 0, 0. So this is called as memory state. When S is 0, R is 1, it is called as reset state. Reset state means Q becomes 0 irrespective of its previous output. If S is 1 and R is 0, it goes into set state and it will make Q equal to 1 irrespective of its previous output. So setting and resetting does not bother about the previous state. It is setting the flip-flop and resetting the flip-flop. S and R 0, 0 means memory state. It will keep its previous state intact till the time S and R remains 0, 0. S and R becoming 1, 1 is called an indeterminate state because the behavior of the flip-flop or latch is unpredictable. It will not, it is shown as 1 star here because if your S and R changes, then the state will go to some other state. But if S and R are 1 and 1, output is not decided, not determined. So that is why it is called as indeterminate state. And this is the state which we never like our flip-flop to go into. This, it is also called as metastable state. Now let us see the waveform. The waveform shows that when S is high, Q becomes high. Why? Because it is a set condition. It is showing a small propagation delay. After that, when S becomes 0, R is also 0. When S and R both are 0, 0 means it goes as a memory state. Memory state means whatever was there at Q will remain. So what was there at Q before T equal to T2? It was
Can you
1.
explain a bit slowly?
Okay. So if S and R both are 0 and 0, it goes to the memory state. So now we will be seeing at T equal to T1, T2, T3 and all these conditions. So what you can see here, yes, the connection is re-established now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when T is equal to T1, S is equal to 1, R equal to 0 means it is in a set condition. Set condition means Q will become 1. Q remained 1 till T equal to T2 when the input state changes. Input means now S and R both are 0, 0. 0, 0 means it will bother about its previous state. So when S and R both are 0, Q was 1, it will remain 1. So before T2, it is in set state. After T2, it is in a memory state. Now, when it is in memory state, it will remain in memory state till either S or R changes. So what you can see at T equal to T3, state input is changing. R becomes 1. S remains 0. So at T equal to T3, what is the condition? S0 R1. When S0 and R1, which state it is in? It is in a reset state. What do you mean by reset state? Reset says that Q should be 0. So Q becomes 0. Again you can see when Q is changing its state because of T equal to T3 and R equal to 1, you can see a small propagation delay here. So with that propagation delay, Q becomes resetted to 0 till t equal to t4. It remains at what state? It remains in reset state. Now again at t equal to t4, input changes, and what is the new input now? S is 0, R is 0. When both S and R are 0, it goes to again which state? S and R 0, 0, it goes to
Memory state.
correct.
Memory
S and R are 0, 0, it goes to memory state. Now, what is there in the memory? Before t equal to t4, what do you have? You have a 0. So, memory will keep this 0 intact. So, S equal to 0, R equal to 0, memory state. Between t4 to t5, it is in memory state. At t5, again input is changing. Now, what is happening? S is equal to 1. When S is equal to 1, R equal to 0, which state it goes into? It goes into a set state, right? It goes into set state when S equal to 1, R equal to 0. Set means what? Q becomes 1. Now you can see here Q becomes 1. When Q becomes 1, again you can see a small propagation delay. Again, when at t equal to t6, what is happening? S is 1 and R is also 1. Now when S and R both are 1 and 1, what will happen? When S and R both are 1, 1, well, the condition what it becomes, it is not a determinant condition. When S and R both are 1, between T6 to T7, something may happen. It may be 0, it may be 1. We do not know. We do not understand this state. So when T is equal to when you have between T6 and T7 should be shaded, and it is a metastable state or indeterminate state when S and R both are 1, 1. Now it is showing here 0. It may be 1, it may be something, but it is something which is not understandable, indeterminate. Now at T equal to T7, what is happening? Reset is becoming 0 and set remains high. Now you can see when set goes to high, R goes to 0 means what? It is in set state. So T equal to T7, it goes to set state. So on, you can carry on understanding in the same way where it shows set, then memory state, then reset state. So you can see T equal to T9 is a reset state. At T8, it is a memory state. At T10 again, when S and R both are 1, 1, again it is a, now you can see at this time it is a 0. It is a 0 and you do not know what is the actual state. So this is again indeterminate state. Now you can also observe one thing. Till the time it is in either set, reset or memory state, Q bar is exactly complement of Q. When it is in set state, in a reset state, and in a memory state, all the time it is following, and Q bar is complement of Q. But you can see here at T equal to T6, you can see at T equal to T6, when both S and R was 1, when it was in indeterminate state, Q bar and Q both are at low, which is not allowed. So this is something which is not understood, not allowed. And T equal to T7, when it went to set state, again you can see Q bar and Q are complement of each other. So everything is fine till when till it is t equal to t10. When t equal to t10, you can see again S and R became high. Because S and R became high in determinant state, between T10 and T11, both are 0, 0, again, which is not allowed. So T10 to T11 is indeterminate state. The same way T6 to T7 was indeterminate state. So their Q bar will not be complement of Q. It will be ununderstandable thing. So same way you can go on seeing the set, reset and memory state. Now again you can see at the at t equal to t14, at t equal to t14 you can see when S and R both became 1 1, your Q and Q bar are 0 and 0. Again this is something which is not understandable. So like this you have to understand this waveform which is showing all the four possibilities of your truth table. Okay, now what you can see here at t equal to t15, t equal to t15, you can see that it is a memory state. It is a memory state. Now you have to see, you need not remember that when it is 1 or 0, randomly you have to make S and R waveform, and accordingly you have to make your Q and Q bar showing the propagation delay. Now let us see what is propagation delay. See, whenever we are making a waveform, we make a vertical line. But actually, you know that there is no vertical line in practical situation. State changing does not change immediately. It is not a straight line, it is a ramp like this. So S to R does not happen instantaneously, it takes some time. So you have to see now here TPLH. So this is a propagation delay when a signal changes from low to high. L to H, L to H. So when your set is going high, we take the middle of the ramp and we take there, and there it is what your Q starts changing. Now you see, observe it very, very carefully. You observe it very, very carefully. This side. Can you see what I have highlighted as yellow? Can you see? From S equal to 0 to the middle of the S. This is when nothing is happening. And when it goes to middle, then only your Q starts changing here. And what happens when Q becomes here? When Q comes to this portion where I have marked here, you can see here. So this is called as TP, means P for propagation. Propagation delay from low to high. When your Q is becoming low to high, when it is setting the flip-flop, and the same time Q bar becomes high to low. The same delay will be seen when Q bar is changing from high to low. So that is called as propagation delay from high level to low level. Now again you can see the similar thing. You can see the similar thing here in your reset. In your reset, when reset is becoming high, from low to high, your Q is supposed to reset go to from high to low. So again you can see here that it is shown at the middle of that ramp, that is taken here, and then your Q starts changing its state. So at this is propagated down, it starts changing its state. From the time reset is considered, that is middle of this ramp, to the time when Q reaches its middle, this time is called as propagation delay from high to low. High to low. High to low of what? High to low of Q. The same way you have low to high of Q bar. So this is called as propagation delay, which comes into picture whenever we are having when we consider practically your SR flip-flop. So this propagation delay is something which you need to consider when you are making this waveform. Now I will give you two important terms. One is called as setup time, other one is called as hold time. Okay, and something called as minimum width. Note down these three important terms: setup time, hold time, minimum pulse width. Setup time.
Ma'am, in exam when they ask us to explain this, should we draw the waveform and everything, or just a
No,
total?
you will have to draw the waveform. Without waveform, you can't explain.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when propagation delay comes, you have to draw this waveform, which I had shown. If they
Yes, ma'am.
say that draw the SR flip-flop showing setup time, hold time, and pulse width time, then you will be doing what I will be explaining you now.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now, this waveform, what I am showing you, you should understand something called as minimum pulse width. Minimum pulse width means what? If suppose S is equal to 1, if S is equal to 1, you see here the diagram, when S is equal to 1, it will consider and it will acknowledge, it will take into consideration this S equal to 1 only if this S becomes equal to 1 for more time than this minimum pulse width time, which is shown as TW. See, I am trying to tell you this, that if suppose S becomes high for a time which is less than this TW, for example, S becomes, okay, I will draw and show you. If S becomes high and it becomes low before this pulse width time, something like this. Imagine now, S became high for this less time. That what will happen? Q will not be able to consider that set signal only. So, set should remain high for more than this minimum pulse width. If set remains high for more than this much time, which is called as minimum pulse width time, then only it will be considered. And you can see that Q is changing its state from Q equal to 0 to 1, means it is setting after this pulse width time. Now imagine what will happen if your set becomes low before this pulse width, before this minimum width. This change will not happen only. This change will not happen. This change will not happen if the setup, if the set signal becomes high for less than this minimum pulse width. So that is important. Okay. So I hope this is clear. What I am trying to say is set should be high for more than this time. Now, if set is high for more than this time, it is considered and Q becomes 1. That means it is set. Now here you can see when reset became high for more than this minimum pulse width time, it made your Q to be resetted to be equal to 0. R equal to 1 means what? Q should be reset and it should be 0. So that is happening here when it is crossing this minimum pulse width time. You can see the state changes only after this minimum pulse width time. Now you understood that set can set a flip-flop by making Q equal to 1 only if it crosses this minimum pulse width. Same way, reset can reset your flip-flop by making Q equal to 0 only if reset pulse is higher for more than this minimum pulse width. Now you can see this condition, the third one, where the set is high for less than minimum pulse width. The minimum pulse width is decided already. So you can see this minimum pulse width is there, but the set remained high for less than that time. So what will happen? The latch will not understand only. It will assume that set is still 0 only. Set is still 0 and it will be in a memory state only. It will be in a memory state only. It will remain 0. It is not setting the flip-flop because it did not became 1 for more than this minimum pulse width time. So this is the logic of minimum pulse width which you should understand. So I hope you have made a note. I am repeating. Minimum pulse width constraint is the requirement of the pulse to be keeping the state for the minimum time, which is called as minimum pulse width time. So it should be 1, set or reset should be 1 for that minimum pulse width time to show the result in the output. So this is the constraint of minimum pulse width. Okay. Now let me show you setup and hold time. Now setup and hold time. All of you see this waveform. This waveform is showing the D flip-flop. I hope you remember what is D flip-flop. I will just revise that if you do not remember. Okay, let us see what is D flip-flop. D flip-flop is called as data flip-flop or data latch or data delay latch, where output becomes equal to 0. Q plus is equal to D. You can see, no? D is 0, Q plus became 0. D is 1, Q plus became 1. So output follows input in a D flip-flop whenever your enable or clock pulse is high. So when clock is high, output is equal to input. When C is equal to 1, output Q plus is equal to input, that is D. If clock is 0, it becomes don't care and it goes to memory state and Q plus becomes equal to Q. So this is the operation of D latch. Now I will show you the waveform using D latch and showing you setup and hold time importance. Now you can see here, randomly you can see when the clock is high, output Q follows input. When clock is low, output does not bother about Q because, output does not bother about D, which is a don't care. Okay, so you can see when C became high at T equal to T3, then only Q followed D, which was a 0. Q became 0 equal to D, which was a 0. When your C is high, it will follow your D. At T equal to T4, you can see that D became 1. So Q also will follow D, becoming 1 because clock is high. Again, when clock remained high and D became 0, Q also became 0. Now you can see this delay. D became high at T4, but Q became high after this much delay. When D became 0, Q also became 0 after this delay. Now we have to understand this delay is because of your propagation delay, minimum pulse width and all that. Apart from your minimum pulse width and propagation delay, two more things you have to understand, that is called as setup time and hold time. Okay, now let us show you what is setup and hold time. Now you see this clock pulse. Can you see this clock pulse? What is tries to say that when clock pulse or your enable signal changes its state, it should remain at the previous state, or it should keep the state at stable at that specific state, which is called as setup time. Now you understand here. Okay, I'm showing you with this specific T equal to T6 only. You see here what is happening at T equal to T6. Before the state changes, before that, this shading, can you see? Left hand side. I will show you this part. This part shows that your waveform should be set up. Set up means it should be fixed to that state before it changes state. You can see whenever it is changing state, there only it is shown. And after it changes the state, this much time, it should hold that. So when your clock is changing, and for this setup time and this much hold time, which setup times comes before the change of the clock pulse, hold time comes after the clock pulse. You can see the same at T9 also. Before the clock pulse, this much is your setup time, After the clock pulse, this much is your hold time. And that shows that this setup and hold time, whenever it is true, then only it will consider and it will change the state of output. So what you can see here, when clock became from high to low at t equal to t6, it has followed this constraint of setup and hold. During this setup and during this hold, d is 0 here. D is 0 here. Output is capable of holding that, and then it goes to memory state. It goes to a memory state. What do you mean by memory state? Whatever was will remain. So when clock is equal to 0, D latch will be there in memory state. So at t equal to t6, memory state is established. Why? Because setup time and hold time constraint is followed, and it will go to memory state with q equal to 0. Now let us check here what is happening. Here what is happening, when clock is changing the state again, when clock is changing the state again, before clock changing the state, q was 1. Can you see? Between T8 and T9, q was 1 because D was 1. Q was following D. It was 1. But at T equal to T9, what is happening? Clock is changing. Clock is changing. Whenever clock change, you have to be more attentive to what is happening. When clock changes, it will check setup time constraint true, tick. Hold time constraint true, tick. So what it will do? It will keep it in memory state without any problem. Now let us see this last what is happening. When here the clock changed, it could follow the setup time. It could follow the setup time, but it did not follow the hold time. Can you see? It did not follow the hold time. Because it did not follow the hold time, this specific pulse is not considered. This pulse is not considered, and it will remain in that state. And this shaded thing is showing that because setup and hold constraint is not followed, because the setup and hold constraint is not followed, it is not able to change the state when D is equal to 0. What should happen here? It should have followed, but it is not following because this setup and hold constraint is not considered in this part. So this setup and hold time are small changes only, but it should follow that. Then only it will be responding accordingly. Otherwise, it will become unpredictable response. It will become unpredictable response if it does not follow its regular setup and hold time constraint. Okay, so now you can see here. Okay, so this setup and hold time constraint should be taken care. Otherwise, your gated D latch will go into unpredictable response. So this is about your understanding of three things: minimum pulse width, setup time, hold time, and one more is propagation delay. So now you can see here your setup and hold time. Again here you can see, if setup and hold time is followed, then only your D flip-flop, D input will be followed to your Q input, Q output. So this setup time and hold time is required. Okay, so this is with respect to your clock timings, timing consideration. Okay, now next topic what is done for your syllabus is master slave flip-flop or pulse triggered flip-flop. Now I will show you. Okay, what you can see here, you already know what is SR flip-flop. Just now I had revised also what is SR flip-flop. Now you need to see this master slave SR flip-flop. In master slave SR flip-flop, what happens? You will have two SR flip-flop. If you remember, one SR flip-flop, inside this there are 4 NAND gate. Remember? You have a 4 NAND gate here. Inside this also there will be 4 NAND gate. So master slave SR flip flop will have 2 SR flip flop connected in a cascaded manner like this, and output of the first one will become input of the second one. So Q output will go to S and Q bar will go to R. And now you can see that this slave flip flop cannot go to indeterminate state at all. Can you see? It will never go to indeterminate state. So what is the advantage of master slave flip flop? Master slave flip flop advantage is that it will not go to indeterminate state. Okay. Now another thing which you have to understand in this is, first one is called as master and second one is called as slave. Why? Because when your clock appears here, suppose high, when clock is high here, when clock is high, your master flip-flop will start working. What will happen to slave flip-flop? When clock is high here, with this NOT gate, clock will become 0 here. So at that moment, only master will be working, slave will be disabled. Slave will not work. And after the clock pulse becomes from high to low, master will stop working and output of master will go to input of slave. And when the clock is 0 here, NOT gate will make it 1 here and slave will start working. So at higher clock pulse, master will work, and at the lower clock pulse, slave will work. And that is only shown here. Can you see now? See, when this clock is high, master is enabled, slave is disabled. When clock is low, master is disabled, but slave is enabled. So this master slave flip-flop takes care that at a higher clock pulse, master works, lower clock pulse, slave work. This will not have indeterminate state because output is seen here at Q bar, and output of previous SR flip-flop is connected to slave input. So that is why indeterminate state will not have come. So this is master slave SR flip-flop. Any doubt in master slave SR flip-flop? See how, what is the symbol of master slave flip-flop? You see this pulse, you can see a longer horizontal line is shown here. A longer horizontal line is shown. A longer horizontal line shows that it is a master slave flip-flop, and it will take little longer time for the clock for the output to appear here. So this higher horizontal length, longer horizontal length shows that it is a master slave flip-flop. The truth table, you can see it is same. 0 0 means memory, 0 1 means reset, 1 0 means set, 1 1 means undefined. So what it is showing is, it is showing the function table for the master slave flip-flop. Okay, any doubt in master slave flip-flop? You need to know this diagram. Okay, one more thing. These two logic symbol, can you see? In the first one, we have shown Q bar, and the output is shown like this. In the second one, you can see that Q and a bubbled output is shown here. So a bubbled output means it is a Q bar. So either you can show like this, showing Q bar, or you can show with a bubble here, that is also a Q bar. Okay. Any doubt in master slave flip-flop? Any doubt in master slave flip-flop?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now you can see here the master diagram of master slave SR flip-flop timing diagram. Now see here, all of you pay attention. When S is high, R is low, it is a set condition, right? It is a set condition. And this set condition will take care of making QM as high when clock becomes high. So you remember, when clock is high, master will work. When clock is low, slave will work. So now clock is high here. It is a set condition. So master worked. QM became high. QM bar became low. So master worked here. Now when low came, now slave should work, right? Now for slave, QM is S input. QM bar is R input. So which condition it is in? QM high, QM bar as low. So again it is in what condition? It is in set condition only, right? QM, where QM was connected? See, QM was connected to S. So when QM is high means my slave flip-flop is set. When QM is high, my slave flip-flop is set. So at clock low, your slave flip-flop became set. QS became 1, QS bar became low. Now coming to the next clock pulse. When clock pulse became high again, as soon as clock becomes high, it will again check your S and R. It will not bother during low time. It will bother during high time only. So when it is high, what is happening? It can see that it is being resetted. It is being resetted. So QM became 0, QM bar became 1. So reset happened here. Now when the clock low came, as soon as clock low comes, it will start checking QM and QM bar. When clock low comes, it will never check S. Can you see now? When clock is low, things are happening here. Things are happening here. But it will not bother about this. It will not look into this. When clock is low, this is don't care for it. So when clock is low, it will see only QM and QM bar. Any inputs at S will be ignored. Any input at R will be ignored during the low pulse of clock. So when clock became low, you can see QM is 0, QM bar is 1. So what condition it is? Set or reset? When QM is 0, QM bar is 1. What it is trying to make slave as?
Reset, ma'am.
Correct. It is trying to reset the slave. So resetting the slave means slave will become 0. QS is 0. QS bar becomes 1. Again, when your clock becomes high, it will start bothering to check what is happening at S and R. S and R, again it is showing it is a set. Set means QM will be set. QM bar will be 0. Again, the same operation is repeating. When clock pulse is low, it will be in a slave operation condition. It will check your QM and QM bar. Accordingly, it will go on. So this is the timing diagram of master slave SR flip-flop. All of you please remember, whenever flip-flop operation comes into picture, you people will have to make the truth table, block diagram and timing diagram. If they talk about internal operation, then you have to give the gate circuit. Otherwise, gate circuit will not be required. So you will have to read your question carefully and then you should understand. So what we saw today, we saw timing diagram, we saw setup and hold time, we also saw the minimum pulse width time and propagation delay. We saw master slave SR flip-flop. Now master slave JK flip-flop we will see in tomorrow's class. Before master slave JK flip-flop, we should also know what is JK flip-flop. So that and all we will see in the next class.